Alright, John, so I just have one more question that I want to do with you, and then I'm going to let you go. This is not one of the homework questions, but we want to sketch these two graphs. Y is equal to 3 sine of 2x, and y is equal to 2 cosine of x over the interval between 0 and 2 pi. So I'm going to go through and label my axes. So this is going to be pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. So obviously those are just my quadrantal angles. 90, 180, 270, 360. Now this one has an amplitude of 3, this has an amplitude of 2. So I'm going to go all the way up to 3 on my y-axis and all the way down to -3 just so that I have enough space. Okay, I'm going to make this one in red and then the second one in a different color. So let's do the sine equation first. This is telling me that I have an amplitude of 3, so my highest value is going to be 3, my lowest value is going to be -3, especially since we don't have any vertical shifts being added on to the end. Now this 2 is telling me that the frequency is 2, meaning the number of curves that I'm going to see between 0 and 2 pi are 2 full sine curves. So I only have enough space for one full sine curve between here and here, and another full sine curve between here and here. Now, if you have something where it's like 1/3 or 1/4, 3x or 4x, something like that, you can always use that equation that I told you to figure out what the exact period is. Period is 2 pi over b, and period tells you how much space that you have to make one curve. So 2 pi over b, or in this case is 2 pi over 2. 2 pi over 2 simplifies to be just pi. So it tells me how much space do I have to make one curve. I have pi radians. So between 0 and pi, I have one curve. Between pi and 2 pi, I have another curve. So these questions are really easy with 2 or 1. But if you have a harder one, you can always resort back to that. So the sine curve always starts at 0, ends at 0, goes through 0 right here in the middle. Between the first two zeros, I hit my maximum of +3. Between the second two zeros, I hit my minimum of -3. Now, if this was a -3 right here, it would be flipped. We would hit our minimum first and then our maximum. But because we have a +3, we are in good shape. So I'm going to do the same thing again over here. Starts at 0, ends at 0, goes through its max, goes through its minimum, and then I'm just going to go through and connect the dots, hopefully smoothly. It's not really as smooth as I would have hoped it to be. Yikes. Oh my god. Hopefully, John, you can do a better job of this than me. Okay, that's a little bit better, slightly. I'm going to do the second equation in a different color. My amplitude is 2, meaning I'm going to hit a height of +2 and -2, and then my frequency is 1. So I have that whole space of 2 pi to just do one full curve. Now cosine starts at its maximum at 2, ends at its maximum of 2, in between it goes to its minimum of -2, then it's going to go through 0 here and 0 here. Now let me see if I can draw this curve. Not too bad. I like it. Okay. What values do both functions have in common? It's pretty much asking you, where did these values cross over each other? Okay, well, if I had drawn this just a little bit better, this red line would have actually gone through that point, and you could see that they crossed right here. That's one value where the functions have something in common. This is another value that they have in common, and then this is a third. So what values do they have in common? Well, let's list them out up here. We have in common pi over 2, or that's the x value that they have in common. We have another one in here that we need to solve for, and we have 3 pi over 2. Now, how are we going to figure out what that value is that they cross at? Because obviously it's not right on a quadrantal angle. It's not exactly in between something. So we really need to use our calculator for this question. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to type in both of those equations. 3 sine of 2x. And I know that I'm in radians because we've been doing this a lot today. So 3 sine of 2x. And my second equation is 2 cosine of x. Now I'm going to change my window between 0 and 2 pi, and I'm going to make my minimum -3 because I know that that's the lowest that these graphs go, and my maximum of +3. And let's graph those. Well, first of all, I can see that I obviously did the first one right. I mean, theirs is obviously a little bit more smoother than mine, but that's okay. You can see that they cross right here at pi over 2, and again at 3 pi over 2, and then we're looking for this value right here. So luckily, you get to use your calculator to figure this out. So your calculator can tell you the intersection between those 2 points. You're going to go to trace, or I'm sorry, second trace. Second trace, and we're looking for intersect. We're looking to see where those values intersect, so I'm going to hit 5. Now, it's going to ask you a couple of different prompts. It's going to say the first curve, and it's just asking you to kind of get, with your arrows left and right, kind of get down really close to, on the first curve, where those cross. So they cross right about there. I'm going to hit enter. And then it's going to say on the second curve. Now you can see that if I move left or right, it's moving along that second curve now. And I'm going to hit enter right where, on top of where they intersect. Then it's going to ask you to guess. And I'm going to guess it's right about there. It's going to pop up with exactly the value that we need, or exactly the point. So if this was like a multiple choice question, you know, maybe you could have all of these written out in terms of points. This would be, here, let me erase this. Maybe we could write these out in points. So the first point would be x is pi over 2, y is 0. Another point was 3 pi over 2, comma 0. And then that last one is 2.8017 something, maybe 8, comma -1.885. So that would be something that you might see on a multiple choice question, or maybe a long answer that you have to answer at the end of a test, something like that. Okay? So this is homework number 86. So now you can do homework number 86 without any problems. And I'm going to stop here today. I think that the next thing that we're going to do tomorrow is writing the equation of a sine or cosine graph. So that's when they give you some information about amplitude, frequency, and all that kind of stuff, and you have to use it and put it into an equation. It's really not that hard. So I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Hopefully you have enough time to watch these videos, and I will see you later.